Traditionally, design is a visual language with elements that are often difficult to translate for visually impaired people. And in fashion especially, the lack of text, labels and icons and color identifiers make it even more difficult for visually impaired users to consume fashion independently, as they are forced to require help from others, and this limits their independence and limits their autonomy.
I would say for Hisi Studio, our community is built around an ideal I like to call the joy of inclusion. When someone who's visually impaired gets to interact with our garments for the first time, there's this elation that they get.
Now, how we are solving this is through a co-design, empathy-driven process, working together with visually impaired individuals to create clothing that has textured prints and tactile braille phrases.
In a small studio tucked away in Nairobi, a young Kenyan woman is rethinking what it means to dress and to be seen. Her name is Angela Wanjiku, a dreamer, a designer, and the founder of Hisi Studio.
My name is Angela Wanjiku. I am a steward at Hisi Studio as the creative lead and founder. Hisi Studio was born out of a confluence moment from my undergraduate design project, and the second part being that I was born and raised in Thika and grew up around the school for the visually impaired and volunteered around activities in the schools. And thirdly, I was raised and cultured into community, knowing that everything I did would be contributing to someone's wellness and impacting their life. So out of these three things, Hisi Studio was woven and born. That would be coming from Thika. As I did my undergraduate paper, I had a constant recurring thought around how do visually impaired people interact with fashion? How do they shop? How do they dress? How do they feel the prints on their garments? Do they translate for them? Do they make sense to them? And in answering those questions is what brought on what we do as adaptive clothing that has Braille and also has an assistive technology component that integrates with mobile phone assistive technology. And we have unique tags that provide our users with descriptions of the garments that they wear. In one word, it means access, but I would also add you another word, autonomy, access and autonomy. It means that we give our users a way of self-expression and independence. It means that there is equitable access and use between visually impaired people and sighted people. Everyone deserves a choice. It is much a design imperative as well as a moral imperative that we get choice, and everyone deserves a choice. A big misconception about adaptive clothing is majorly on function, that it's just supposed to serve the purpose it was made for. But we're going beyond that and adding aesthetics to it. Tactile prints inspired by the Koyo culture and other African traditional cultural heritage. So inclusive fashion should be aesthetic as well as functional. In Kenya and on the continent where we have put out our pieces, we have received a lot of support. As more and more fashion brands learn about the importance of inclusive fashion, we have received support including collaborators who work with us, our latest one being Mabatini Studio, who we are producing a line of upcycled kimonos with Braille. I would say majorly has been access to capital. First, as an assistive technology innovator, what we do is deemed as charity. It isn't taken as seriously as an enterprise. So that has been an uphill task to get people to actually realize that this is business and it matters, and to fund it like they would any other business.
Speaking at State House, Nairobi, after ascending to the Persons with Disabilities Bill, the president said the new law marks a significant step in eliminating systemic barriers that have long hindered PWDs from accessing essential services and opportunities. The progressive legislation guarantees PWDs the right to education, employment, healthcare, political participation, and access to buildings and public spaces. The head of state also signed the county government's additional allocations bill 2025 aimed at enhancing equitable resources distribution and boosting service delivery across counties.